Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarapal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. It's that time again, time to learn and grow and challenge the status quo. And today I have Polly Hearsey on the show. Not only is her name fun, so is her zone of genius. Now, Polly wants nothing more than to have her soul clients start ditching the boring side of marketing and to start believing in themselves and on their own terms, because this is the secret sauce to growing your business exponentially. So please help me in welcoming the lovely Polly. Welcome.
Well, that was quite the introduction. Thank you, Sashka.
Oh, it's a pleasure. How are you today?
I'm good. It's a glorious day. The sun's out. It's nice and warm. It's like, couldn't be better, really.
Nice when the sun's out. Lots of vitamin D.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, gosh. So we're going to kick off. I'm going to be kicking off the podcast with you today and asking you what is, in your opinion, the most fun thing in marketing and communications. Why do you feel entrepreneurs, why don't they see the fun, but rather the difficulty in it?
Because this is genuinely what I think. I think the whole world of marketing has marketed itself based on systems and processes that are utterly disempowering, when actually marketing is about creativity and fun. And they've all been completely disempowered by this thing. I have to do X, Y, Z process. I have to have this in place. I have to do it this way. We're infinitely creative. We have, that's the beauty of it. I think I said somewhere yesterday, I think it just came into my head. It's like, there is no set quota on how you solve a problem. There is no set quota on how you approach something. You are infinitely creative. Have some fun with it. And I think that's the thing. People feel so constrained. I think for me, the sensation I had when I was in that place of following the rules and following the dictates was feeling of suffocation. Other people have said it's a bit like being a caged animal. You know that you feel inside, you feel fundamentally free and creative and liberated to do what you want to do. And then you step into this world of business in general and marketing, and you just go, oh, I can't do it like that. I'm not allowed to do it like that. I mean, yeah, you are. Yes, you are. But sometimes you just need somebody to say, it's okay. It'll be okay. You aren't going to fail because you're doing it a different way. You're more likely to succeed because you're doing it a different way. In fact, all the people out there who are really successful, they didn't follow the rules. They made them up because we're all unique. We're all individuals, so we have to work according to who we are. And I know that's something that you talk a lot about, obviously. So, and I think there are a wave of us who are bringing people back to the core, because for me, marketing starts too far down the road. It starts before you fully understand who you are and what you're here to do and who you're here to serve. And if you don't know that, and you don't really believe in yourself and appreciate how amazing you are, you can't do the rest of it. And that's because, to me, I can talk the hind legs off donkey, but to me, that is because marketing grew out of big business with big data. So it's all, if you've got 1 million website visitors and 100,000 customers, you've got a lot of data on which you can base things and then go and test it with focus groups and all the rest of it. But when it's just you, and like for me, I might work with 30 one-to-one clients tops. Well, there ain't much data in that. That's about human relationships. That's about the fact that my clients are living, breathing human beings, and I have to relate to them in a different way. It's not about those processes. This is about who they are, what they want. And I think that's why people don't enjoy marketing. I think it terrifies the living daylights out of them.
Well, that's so true. Definitely. That's what I preach as well. and it's just how we've been conditioned. We just love beautiful things. So when we come online, we start our business, we start with the beautiful things. So we start with the logos and the branding. We don't know who we are. And then we get, I don't want to say cheated out of money, but it's unnecessary money spent for a service you don't need now. Because there are a lot of good graphic designers, a lot of good ad agencies that do their work well and are working with what they've got. But if you don't know what it is that you actually want, and it's just in the mood or in the trend, then that's what's going to come out of it. We could both talk about this like forever.
Well, I'm totally with you for that, because the number of clients I've had who they've gone out and they've done a website or whatever, and it's come back and they've just gone, I don't really like it, but I don't know why. I wonder why that is. Let's go back and start again. And when you do it from the beginning and you evolve it and people really explore what they want, then they get beautiful results that really have the energy within them, whereas otherwise it can look pretty, but it means nothing.
Yeah, that is so true. Why do you think you're so successful in your industry, in marketing?
Do you know, that's a really interesting question, and I have mulled on that one a lot. And it's not easy. When you are really being true to who you are and you are continually saying only what is the truth to you, then it can be really hard to get that momentum going, because you've got to go out there and you've got to find out people who it really connects with. And that's difficult, but I have been really resolute about not shifting who I am for other people. Now, in the early stages of my business, I did all that stuff of shifting and thinking, oh, that's what I've got to do and that's what I've got to do. And then one day I just woke up and just went, do you know what? These people don't know what they're talking about. And it's not right for me. And I just went, right, okay. But I've had to strip all that back, and I've had to come at it again. And every day now that goes past, I learn more about myself, and I learn more about what I'm here to do, and I learn to appreciate myself more. So as I'm doing that, every day I'm refining how I work with my clients, and every day I'm refining how I respond to the world at large. So to me, anybody who wants to be successful in their business, the absolute secret ingredient to that is being true to yourself first.
Yeah, that is so true. And we see that more prevalent in the entertainment industry, because I grew up with the entertainment industry. So you have Britney Spears, for example, or Christina Aguilera, where gorgeous talent working for what they want and the stardom, and then they get there and they get pushed into a mold of what's going to sell. And then somewhere along the line, they realize, well, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. And they break out of that. And then the whole world reacts to, oh my God, they're rebelling against everything. But then they find their niche and the people that resonate with them. And that's exactly the same in business. It's the same in life. When you move away and you move into a new country, learning a language, meeting new friends, it's the same thing. It's just a circle of life. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's like the be all end all. Oh my God, I'm being someone else.
This is where people end up having to restructure and completely re-envisage their business all the time, because they're going down one route and then they realize it's really not where they want to be. So they have to come back and start again. And then that's not quite where they want to be. But every time it's really intensive. Whereas if you're coming from who you are, you're not having to reinvent yourself all the time. You can just evolve in a much more natural way, a much more organic way. I was just thinking about Kylie Minogue when she did that. Oh God, what was the, I can't remember what the song was, but it was such a massive shift in what she was doing that she just alienated most of her audience. But look where she got to when she actually found her natural flow of what she wanted to do. Yep. Amazing.
Exactly. Who helped you get to where you are today?
Oh, that is such a good question, because there are a lot of people out there who I have learnt from, who are thought leaders that I have learnt from, and there are a lot of people out there I've listened to, I've absorbed, and then gone, no, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So they've helped me by being, somebody like Ryan Dice, for example. I looked at why is he so successful, and then I got to a certain point where this really isn't for me, and this turned and went the other way. But there's been a lot of thought leaders who have helped me sort of like step into my own power, if you like, but the people who have helped me the most have been my clients, or actually just the people I get to talk to, because they're the ones who bring out the best in me and allow me to bring out the best in them. And every time I have a conversation with a client, I'm learning and developing and growing as a person and as somebody who can help them. So they are the people who've helped me the most. If I'm brutally honest, I know probably somebody would say, oh, you need what mentor have you had or what have you, but clients are the most important ones.
Well, I think it's both. Well, even more, the support system have, the usual in inverted commas. Well, it's not the usual. What's for me, the norm is having a support system like my family and my friends. Some really don't have it at all and they're really face down. I think of people like, when they started off, like Tony Robbins or Ryan Blair or Dr. Eric Thomas. And these people were homeless. They had no food. Their families were broken. They didn't have that support, but they still came out the other side, because they had the tenacity to do it. But it is, the clients are the one, because they're the ones buying the products or the services. So they're the ones giving you the insight of what they want and what they need. It's not a big drama. When a client said, well, for me, for example, the client will say to me, have you maybe considered this and this and this in your program? And I'll be like, what's a new way of looking at it? Sounds good. Maybe I apply it. It's not a bad thing to take it on. It doesn't make you worse of a mentor or a coach or a business strategist or whatever you're doing. I think it's quite good.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of people out there who set themselves up as gurus. So I download to you, you take it away and you absorb it. And for me, that just isn't the way it goes. It is a two-way street.
Yep.
Everybody's learning from everybody else. And actually, that's the beauty of it. I always describe it as two flows of energy meeting, and you get this like electric shock to where you meet your clients. That's where the magic is. The creation comes from there. You can't predict it. This is one of the problems of marketing and communications, actually, is trying to explain what the possibilities are when you know that they're endless.
Exactly. Well, how do I put this? So there are obviously different stages. I was just talking about that in business, and the different levels that you are at, and your soul clients are also different levels. So there's always the question, so what are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs are doing? And it's such a general question because at every level there are different mistakes being made. Like in the beginning, you're starting off with branding, where it's like, maybe you shouldn't start off with that unless you have a product, unless it's a physical product. But a service, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then later on down the line, you're not thinking about different income streams. You're just thinking of one way where you could think of different income streams. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs are making?
To me, the one that I see the most is that people, they get so stuck in this like hamster wheel thing of, I've just got to get enough clients to get to this point. Then I'll think about the next stage. And although the next stage may change when they get there, the problem is they're on this hamster wheel. They've got to do more of the same to keep it going, and they're never going to get the capacity to actually expand. So, what I like to work with people on is actually saying, can you dream big from the outset? So even 5 years down the line, I mean, let's say you are a coach and you really want to do retreats, and you're ideally hitting home with you at the moment, but you want to go and do a retreat in Bali and you can't see yourself ever getting there at the moment. That doesn't mean you don't put it in your plan, in your sights, because you need to be allowing yourself to grow all the way through. If you are not creating that space to grow from the very beginning, you will get stuck. And this is where people are getting stuck at the moment, that they have their plan A, they don't have a plan B, and they're just keep on going, and they're doing more and more and more and more, and they haven't got capacity to stop and think and reflect and create new, because it means whatever they do, they stop earning in order to refocus the direction. And that to me is the biggest almost betrayal of yourself and your potential, is to not actually dream that big from the outset.
That's so true. I'm going to flip it now because I believe in both sides of the polar. What do you think entrepreneurs are doing good, well,
Well, I think there is a very strong wave of people who are really stepping back into who they are. And I think they are. And I just see it more every day. I see people go, I'm ready to release that. When they release that, they actually open up the possibilities for themselves and open up possibilities for everybody that are here to help. I'm really enjoying seeing that, because I think that is such a positive thing. And I think it's going to shift, because really honest, most entrepreneurs in the online space now are women. I mean, they're not exclusively. I was reading something about how certainly in the UK, there are so many women entrepreneurs now because they can't find the flexibility in the workplace to have families. And so that is growing. And actually it is the weight of that, the breadth of that is actually going to start to shift the entire societal infrastructure of how we do business. And that to me is so exciting, because it's going to just shift this massive corporate model, which we can all see crumbling. Let's be honest. That sort of money for money's sake is just not washing it anymore. And that to me is just so exciting. I just can't wait to see that sort of like start to happen. It's a bit scary as well, because in that transition period when people aren't going to be sure exactly what's going on, that's when leadership is going to be really important. And to me, there are a lot of people now who are stepping up and understanding that truly being an entrepreneur entrepreneur is about being a leader. And people are stepping into that leadership role, and they are going to have such an important role, whereas the whole of society changes, to say, this is the way we're going. This is the, you know, and that's very exciting, a little bit scary, but it's an amazing time to be around and watching it happen, because although there's so much going on in the world that is awful and horrible and upsetting, you know, whether it's politics or, you know, terrorism or whatever it is, or wars and famine and all the rest of it, whilst that's really scary, you know that it's coming because there's a big shift.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting at the same time. I am quite excited to be alive at the moment, to be honest.
Oh my, I was telling one of my close friends, I was like, I really hope I live to be 100 or over 100. And she goes, what? And I'm getting, there's so many exciting things that are going to be coming our way. Like, not the revolution, just an evolution of things. Like, it's going to happen with education, how, you know, people are going to start rising up, being able to teach kinesthetic children and not just logic. And talking about brand leadership, because I'm writing a blog post about that. That's going to be, and that is a very interesting topic, because a lot of women leaders, how a lot of girls have grown up, have seen women leaders as being deceiving, because through storytelling or the fairy tales that we grew up with, most of the women were either trying to kill you or rob you of your beauty or something. So it's going to be very interesting to see the roles of women change in leadership and who gets trusted and not in brand leadership. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah. So I'm with you on that one. So tell me, how do you attract your clients? Because so many entrepreneurs are always interested in wanting to know, how do marketers actually get their success? AKA, how do they use the same strategies that they recommend to their clients, or they're using something else?
Yeah, I think this is a really funny one, because it's the same conversation you can have with a copywriter about writing their own copy.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have the objectivity in your own business to do it as well as you do it for someone else's.
Yes.
And if I'm honest, it's just, for me, it's about just being very true to who I am and my energy, and just being consistent. So am I as strategic as I get my clients to be? No, I'm not.
If we're honest, no.
No. And it's because that's one of the things that I have learned as an entrepreneur, is actually I have to give as much weight to my own business as I do to my clients. And I've always put myself second to my clients and then had to play catch up. So then that's still a work in progress for me. I like to have a broader church of ways of attracting my clients. So, and I think about it as, so I have cold traffic, I have warm traffic, I'm using different approaches depending on what I'm doing. So for example, I might use Pinterest for cold traffic. So they would go down a particular route. So they would go down and opt in to, and then get onto my list and be nurtured along that way. Or it might be that, you know, if I'm in Facebook groups where I've got a relationship building, then to me that's a bit warmer. And interestingly enough, I mean, I think there's the standard model has been freebie, opt-in, nurture, upsell sequence, cross-sell sequence, whatever. And for warmer traffic, I'm seriously looking at forgetting about the free content. I'm even contemplating, this is still whirring around in my head, contemplating having to pay to get on my list.
Yeah.
Because I want to change the dynamics of that, because I think free has lost its value completely. And there is no value in free unless you are talking about completely cold traffic. And then I need to qualify that cold traffic. So if I'm using Pinterest for the sake of argument, I need to know that they're within my niche, because what they may pick up may not be within my niche. And I really don't want people signing up and unsubscribing and signing up and unsubscribing. I want people there to have a relationship. So I've got a lot of thoughts playing around in my head at the moment about how big a list do I want? How do I want to manage it? Facebook groups, you know, there's a lot of changes going on there. I'm actually thinking, I've never had a Facebook group because I wasn't sure that I had the oomph and the energy to really manage it properly. I think the dynamics have changed a lot recently, but I'm actually considering starting one, but having a cap on the number of people who I'll let in.
Yeah.
Because there gets to a point when it gets too big that it's more difficult to manage and there's no community there. So I've got lots of thoughts going on in my head about how to shift it, because the energy of marketing is shifting dramatically. Seth Godin did a piece on this. I don't know if you saw it not very long ago, and he said there are two sides to marketing. You've got the data analysts going one way, and then you've got the real marketers going the other way. And that came out at exactly the same point in time that my thinking was consolidating about it. I was like, okay, yeah, that's good from the universe that I'm on the right track here. So I am really thinking about sort of completely how to shift client attraction within the concept of changing a very rapidly changing face of how we market it and market our businesses. And also the fact that I think some people are going to have to go back to learning the basics again.
Well, a lot of people don't know the basics unless you've actually been in marketing. That's the whole, my opinion. And also, like I was saying before, the different levels in your business, free content is really for the beginning stages because they're learning a lot of information, and all the other stuff is too overwhelming because you don't know where to start. You've just got your passion. All you want is just to sell. And I've seen this with Gary Vee. All that free content is actually getting more flack now rather than traction. He's been involved in a few ads and they've backfired and they haven't been researched properly. And that's kind of like where I then think, pretty interesting. You know, when it's just a few of my opinions, I'm just like, I'm not going to voice them too much here. I have to research it a bit more. But yeah, I was the same. There will be a Facebook paid group for myself. And I was also always, I don't want such a big group because I want to be able to manage it. And for me, the max would be probably 1,000 or 2,000. And then people that don't engage, they have to leave because there's no point in it, because I'm a person that likes to engage. So I fully understand that. I think that's a great concept of paid content for people that actually want to move further.
I think it is also reflective of how you feel about yourself and your business, and the point at which you suddenly get the confidence to say, actually, I'm worth it. You know, and in the early stages of your business, you're always going, am I really worth it? And that's where you're pumping out free content like there's no tomorrow, because yes, here we go, I am worth it, honest. So you're trying to convince yourself in many ways. But when you get to a certain point and you realize that you're good enough to work with clients who are also at a certain point, you know, they might be a little bit behind you, but they might even be further ahead than you, but you realize that actually you can do it. Then you go, okay, actually I've got the confidence to say, yeah, I'm going to charge for that. And that's when you put your prices up and you start, I found it really interesting to see how some of those introductory offers, those things that are really the hooks, how they're playing out. And I see a lot of people doing flash sales and massive discounting without a clear strategy.
Yeah.
And I think we do it because we want the results, but actually it's so counterproductive in the long run. And I spend so much time talking to my clients. You've got to price from the beginning, because your ideal customers, your ideal clients will not jump with you if you start too low, but they will jump with you if it's so worried about people not paying and not coming up with them, that they price so low, and then they have to then reinvent their business and come up with a new set of clients or customers. And that's so I think I see it's funny because as an entrepreneur I have the same issues as everybody else, obviously, but for my clients it's always about have the confidence, have the self-belief from the outset to be who you really are and to understand the power of what you do and work from the center of your power. I've come to the conclusion that as an online entrepreneur it's very much a do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Oh, God, I've got so many questions over here. I'd love to know your input about things like Shark Tank and all these things. But we're coming near the end of this, unfortunately. So I always ask, I've got 2 questions that I ask everyone in the interview. And it's basically based on 3 words that are my core values. And I'd like to know your take on it by filling in the blanks. So creativity for you is?
Potential.
Wow, that's really nice. Wisdom for you is?
I want to say truth, but I don't know if that really sort of conveys exactly what I mean. But it's somewhere between truth and belief.
Oh, I like
it's inside. Wisdom is inside. I have to get out of my head. I'm very in my head a lot, so it's not in your head. It's somewhere else.
Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. Passion for you is?
Life.
Oh, wow. Now, how would you change the world or challenge the world with what you do?
I've mulled over this many, many times because I've wondered about my path and how I got here. And how I change the world is by empowering people, inspiring people to be themselves. Because when they are themselves, the momentum for change within the world is even greater. So I see myself as a facilitator. I remember reading something, it was either a video, it was either live or it was something you'd written about your background. I know what it was. It was you'd done an interview with somebody about your background, and because you've obviously come with the entertainment and everything. And it made me laugh because I did an English and drama degree, but I never wanted to act.
Oh, wow.
And that to me, I was like, yeah, okay, it's because I've always wanted to facilitate. I made a great stage manager, but I never wanted to act. I never wanted to perform. I wanted to facilitate. And that is what I want to do with how I want to create change in the world, is to facilitate others to be the best of themselves. And I've learned that in order to do that, I've got to be the best of myself and be brave enough to step out there and be visible.
Yeah, that is so true. I love that answer. That is beautiful. I love all the different answers. It's really, really exciting to see the different people, just their outlook on life, and what's the norm for someone is not the norm for somebody else. And that is really gorgeous, because there's a lot of people that want to be the leaders, and it really all comes with stems from education and facilitating that education. So I find that amazing. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And for the listeners listening, that was really, really interesting. I love speaking on different viewpoints on marketing and branding and advertising and sales. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Oh, bless you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sashka.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.